Everything attached to you can win. You can touch everything and turn it to gold. What differentiates people who can do this and who cannot is optimism. Optimism is the tendency to think that good things are going to happen, right? To have good fortune be the main thing on your mind. Pessimism is the opposite. You don't think good things are going to happen, and therefore they don't. Therefore, your life is something that turns out to be pessimistic. And optimism is actually a indicator for longevity. People who are optimistic tend to live longer, they lead healthier lives, and they have better cardiovascular health, immune health, and it's just amazing how our psychological behavior can impact our physical behavior and even literally how long we can live, okay? So the reason, think about this. Let's put it into practical terms, right? If you're someone who's optimistic, you're going to be more likely to go to the gym. You're going to be more likely to do things that are healthy for your well-being. Optimists take better care of themselves, therefore they tend to be healthier. If you're a pessimist and you think, "Oh, I might die tomorrow," why would you go to the gym? Why not pick up this cigarette, right? I don't know when I'm going to die. So pessimists tend to do things that actually impair their health. And also, pessimists have high stress hormones, such as cortisol. And over time, having this kind of negative thought process about life can cause some inflammation in your body because your body's always having these stress hormones, and therefore it's more likely that you'll get disease, right? So today we're going to talk about how you can have an optimistic point of view on life, how to feel good about life, all right? How to just feel, wake up and be like, it's a good day, all right? Half of it, maybe not half, but maybe half is gut health, all right? Gut health is just amazing. If you haven't heard about the gut brain axis yet, our guts and our brains are intricately connected. So they have a quantum system, quantum meaning down to the smallest parts, right? They have this system that they connect through and they communicate with each other. So when there's bacteria in your gut, tiny little bacteria that are actually bad bacteria, they can affect your brain. So people who have diseases such as depression will have similar gut bacterias in their gut. Their microbiome will have these little nasty bacterias that are actually causing their depression. So when you have an optimistic look on life and you feel good about life, you know that you're a winner. This is actually happening in your gut. There's a little world in there that we can't see. Something cool that I found out is that our guts are like bioluminescent, meaning they can create a sort of light type of thing and do photosynthesis. So just like at the bottom of the ocean, right? There have been fish that have somehow evolved to have light, right? They have light. They something in their bodies creates light. That's similar to what can happen in our guts, and our guts do photosynthesis based on things like ferritin and chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is going to come from our greens, our rich green stuff. So kale, spinach, spirulina, wheatgrass, moringa, lots of herbs that are rich in green, nettle. And so having this will help your gut do this thing that lights it up and makes you healthier, makes you a happier person, and overall more nourished. And also, you also need to pay attention to the things that irritate your gut. Okay, so for a lot of people, it's coffee. And I know it's coffee because I just started drinking coffee. And I think when I get to the point, if I ever do get to the point where I've been drinking coffee for years, that might go away, like the symptoms that I've been experiencing. But I'm so aware of the things that happen to my body that I can feel what's going on. So now that I've started drinking coffee, I feel like it's a contributor to anxiety because maybe the caffeine or maybe it's new in my gut. So whatever, it's been a catalyst for anxiety. And I know that I'm like, oh, this is not good, right? Also, caffeine, I feel like it's a lot of the girlies' gut problems, like at least part of it, because I know a lot of women have gut health issues but are constantly drinking lattes. So I think that can be a culprit. A good swap if you feel like coffee might be impairing your gut health, if you need some energy, is to make a green milk latte, as I like to call it. So you're going to make a latte, but use spirulina powder or moringa powder or wheatgrass powder or a mixed greens powder type of thing and make it similar to how you would a matcha. And this is going to give you that natural energy, the energy that chlorophyll gives our bodies, and whatever minerals are in the greens that you decide to use. I have a video on how to make a green milk latte that I will link for you. So you can learn how to make it. It's really easy and it's delicious. And I noticed that when I need coffee, it's because, or some type of caffeine, it's like I'm really tired. My body's really tired. I don't need it, but it is very helpful to get me through the day. However, when I'm consistent with my green milk lattes, I have that feeling less because my body is running on energy that's kind of already built in. Where the caffeine, you're adding energy, like you're turning off those tired receptors in your brain. The spirulina, moringa, and wheatgrass, when I make those type of lattes, it's like a real fuel for my body that just keeps me up and keeps me going. And it feels so good inside of me. Pause. But it feels really good to my body. And like I feel the energy. Same thing with sea moss gel. If you have not used sea moss gel, I also have a video on how you can make it at home. No need to buy sea moss gel. It's better to make your sea moss gel at home. Just buy the raw sea moss, watch that video. I show you how to do it. It's simple and you have more control over it, over the cleanliness of it, because sea moss can be dirty. And I just feel like after being someone who sold it to people and after making it for years and having a business created around it, I know that other people who create sea moss gel products are not doing the job to clean it as well as you will. Because people kept coming to me, my clients, because it was so fresh, so clean. It didn't taste like the sea. The quality was there. So go ahead and watch that if you want to learn how to clean your sea moss, make it taste good, and make it at home so you can always have it on deck. You don't have to rely on anyone else besides the raw sea moss gel. So when you take care of your gut health, your brain is just going to be on 10. You'll also notice that when you cut out things like sugar and not fruit sugars, more of those refined sugars when you're going out to get desserts and kind of like breads and yeasty things, like yeast and sugar is just a bad combination for your gut health and for your brain. You'll notice after you eat sugary things, like you go out to get ice cream, you eat cookies and all this stuff, the next day, the next couple days, you'll be feeling weird mentally. Why am I emotional? Why is my brain not feeling like doing this? Why are things a little bit harder for me? And it you can track it back to, oh, I had sugar. I went out to Cheesecake Factory and I had me some cake. So now I'm feeling a little bit off. If you're someone who has sugar all the time, you might have this feeling consistently, and now it's just a part of your life to kind of have a little bit of a negative type of aspects to your life. We gotta, like the sugar intake has to be watched, especially if you're not drinking enough water to balance it out. You could probably have sugar if you're really drinking enough water to like flush out the sugar out of your system. That could be a little hack for you, but still take care of your gut health, okay? That's going to definitely help your brain, keeping you more optimistic. We have to be winners in this life. I was listening to a song. Oh my gosh, I gotta give y'all this song. Everything. It's called You Will Win by Jacqueline Carr. Okay, she inspired the hook for this video because everything attached to you wins. Everything attached to you wins. You will win. All right. And part of that is feeling good about life, feeling optimistic. Yesterday, we talked about how the actions you take can put you in survival mode or they can put you in wellness mode. And when it comes to being an optimist and when you speak over your life, you have to have that. You have to have the optimism inside of you. You can be speaking over your life. You can learn that as a tactic, but if you're a pessimist, if in the back of your mind you're still like, this ain't gonna work, like this ain't even nothing I can do will change my experience. If that's the undertone of whatever you're saying, that frequency is what's going to be put out. If I say I will win, but I feel like a loser, it's not really going to matter. If I say I will win and I feel like a winner and I know that I will win, that's the optimism speaking in me. It's that tendency to foresee good fortune in your life, to foresee good things happen. And before we move on to our next one, I want to mention another reason why being optimistic is so important that I've noticed just on my journey of personal development. I have, of course, consumed a lot of content from people who are in positions that I wouldn't mind being in, right? They got beautiful family, they got lots of money, they got uh looks like they have fun, a lot of friends and things like that. They are optimists. They are optimists, okay? And I mean that in the way that they are optimistic about their goals. They are optimistic about their goals being achieved. And goals are a huge part of life. Goals are just something that we have in this human experience from the age of 0. You learning how to walk as a child, even if you can't put it into words, that's a goal. When you are a baby and you see everybody walking and you decide in your mind, this is for me, like you decide, like, yeah, everybody's walking, I need to walk. That's a goal, and you were optimistic about it because there was no data telling you that you couldn't do that. Even though you couldn't at the time, there was no one that was telling you that you can't walk. Not that you could really understand them anyways, but you were an optimist as that baby who decided that you were going to walk. And as we get older and we have all this new data that comes in, all these things that don't work out, which we will talk about as well, all these things don't work out, they can make you into a pessimist and change your attitude around life, which will keep you in that cycle. But if you keep that childlike mind and feel good about the things to come, feel good about your goals, then you will win, okay? Jesus said that in order we need to have childlike minds again, okay? If you want to experience heaven. We need to have the minds of a child because children are hardly pessimistic. They would have had to seen some stuff. And I did read that optimism can be like a genetic type of trait for some people. So maybe pessimism can be too, but that's not a lot of people. That's a very small percentage. Let's move on to how else we can feel good about life, okay, and feel optimistic. See the sunrise. When you see the sunrise, there's a few things that happen. The first thing, the most powerful thing I feel, and that many people feel from seeing the sunrise, is that you are awe-inspired. When you feel a feeling of awe, there's so much science behind how awe affects us positively. It calms down our nervous systems. It makes us feel kind of small, like our problems aren't the main thing that's going on. When you feel something that's awe-inspiring, when you experience that, remember that you are just a tiny thing in this universe, not even just the Earth. If you believe that there's a solar system and then a galaxy, you're think about how small you are. So your problems aren't that big. When your problems become smaller, then you're less likely to be pessimistic about them and more optimistic about life. You see the beauty of what could happen. The sun is out here rising every day, and so are you. You have a rising every time you wake up, you are rising. So when you wake up to see the sunrise, you're getting this feeling of awe, and you're a morning person. Morning people tend to report that they have a more positive and optimistic outlook on life and that they're happier. There's a lot of reasons why this could be. Um, but let's just say, like, when you are up in the morning and you're kind of getting those fresh, crisp starts of the day, like everything's fresh, everything's new. That's a good feeling. That's a good experience. The people who are outside are happier in the morning. They just have a calmer way of life, probably because they have more time in their day to do things. They feel like they're not running out of time. They feel like they have enough room to do everything that they can. They also People who wake up earlier also tend to get more sleep versus those who wake up later tend to wake up later because they're not getting enough sleep and their sleep schedules are messed up. So when you are waking up earlier, you get these little interactions with people who are positive and that positively impacts your day. At any time of day, though, those little interactions with people are going to give you a greater sense of optimism because we are social beings. We need that social interaction. I talk about this a lot because I'm in a season in my life where I'm being very intentional about that. Because at one point, I believed that that didn't matter. I had been so hurt by people that I decided that social interaction, and also I had hurt people. So I decided, like, whatever the people. I'm not a people person. People get out of here. I just need me. But now I'm like, no, actually, that's a horrible way to live. Um, I am now taking every most opportunities to talk to people. For example, the other day I was in the gym on the Stairmaster. There was a couple next to me doing the elliptical machine, which is the machine that I wanted, but they both took up the two machines that were there. So I decided to ask them, just because I'm on this mission, I said, "Hey, y'all ever rode the elliptical backwards?" The guy didn't answer me. Respectfully, I respect him, respecting his girl probably. And the woman was like, "Yeah, like it's so fun." And that's a good interaction. That makes you feel just optimistic. It makes you feel good about life that you can just have a conversation with someone. It can go somewhere or it cannot. It's just like, yeah, it is fun, isn't it? So whatever time of day it is, if you have the opportunity to talk to someone, do that thing. That's going to make you feel so good about life. Those little interactions boost the endorphins, boost our serotonin, boost those positive brain chemicals. All right. So, how else we're going to feel good about life? You have to reframe bad situations and respond to them better. This is the superpower of an optimist, okay? This is going to help you overcome obstacles in life. And yesterday's video, if you haven't watched yesterday's video, or no, this wasn't yesterday's video, because yesterday's video was about survival mode versus wellness mode. The day before yesterday, which is about the beauty formula, I talked about feeling powerful. And when you feel powerful, sometimes to get there, you have to go back in time to those moments where you didn't and rewrite them. Because if you don't, that story is just going to keep repeating and it can turn you into a pessimist, right? So when you are able to reframe the situation around you winning, you become an optimist. It doesn't matter what's happening. You have the tools to deal with it. You are able to overcome obstacles and win. One specific way that you can do this is to take failure to the head and not to the heart. Here's what I mean by that. When you take failure to the head, it's more of just data coming in, more just information coming in. Okay, you're able to use your logic, able to use your reasoning and say, all right, this is a failure. What happened here that made me fail? When you take failure to the heart, it becomes emotional. It becomes a part of you. It's no longer just data, it's a personality trait. So when you take something to the head, you're able to move more optimistically. It's like, all right, I'm taking this and let me see what I can do with it. There was an experiment of some sort with swimmers, and they told the swimmers that they were slower than what they did. So the swimmers swam their thing, they timed them. Say the swimmer's time was 15 seconds, they told them that they actually did it in 17 seconds. So the swimmer was like, dang, that took me longer than I thought. Or swimmers, whatever their times were. The swimmers who were optimistic on the second time after they told them they were slower went faster. Okay. The pessimistic swimmers who saw that they had a slower time went even slower the next time. So you have these optimistic swimmers, these pessimistic swimmers, they did something different. The optimistic swimmers, they took it to the head versus the pessimistic who took it to the heart. The pessimistic swimmers were like, dang, I'm slow. So now let's be slow. They were extra slow, but the optimistic ones were like, okay, this is data. This is data. But guess what? I'm an optimist. If I swim 17 seconds, guess what? I'm going to do 16, even, like I'm going to go faster because it's not, I'm reframing it. Like I'm reframing it. I could see it as, oh man, I'm slow, or I could see it as, oh man, that was slow, but let me go faster this time. Let me challenge myself, which leads to another way that you are going to have a good outlook on life. All right. If you want to have a good outlook on life, you need to challenge yourself. This is going to teach you that you can do hard things and that you can get through hard things. If you're new to challenging yourself and you don't want to be super intense, do like a 30-day challenge. That's something that's super easy. Okay. Maybe you say an affirmation every day for 30 days. You set an alarm and a reminder, and it could be simple as um, my natural beauty radiates wherever I go. And you just say that every single day. This teaches you that you are an autonomous being. So, because you're autonomous, that means that you have the opportunity to take some level of not control, but you can do things in your life, right? Like I can do this every single day for 30 days. I am capable of doing this. And when it's something positive that you're doing also, you have that extra positive layer on top. So you saying this affirmation every day for 30 days, it challenged you to do something consistently. And it also has ingrained in your mind that you are naturally beautiful, that it radiates. And so when you can challenge yourself, it does something to your brain, which often gives out before your body actually does. When people push to failure, right, in the gym, it's because they know that their brain is going to tell them they are done with that set before their body is actually telling them, hey, we're done. So, pushing to failure in the gym, if you're doing squats, it's like, I'm doing these squats until I can't anymore, until I actually drop down. But your brain will tell you maybe 3 squats before or 5 squats before your actual body is done that it's done. So your brain is like, "Whoa, I'm done, right? I'm done. Get me up, get me out of here." But your body had 5 more in. When you continually kind of challenge yourself and push yourself, you can see that you are way more capable than you thought. This starts to open your mind up to think, if I can do this, what else can I do? What other areas have I been slacking in unintentionally where I can push myself to achieve something even greater than I thought that I could? And then you keep pushing this boundary and you continue to get stronger and you continue to get bigger. And it also forces an optimism, right? When you push to failure, you actually forced optimism into your life because you forced a good thing to happen. So if optimism is the tendency to expect good things in the future, you challenging yourself and achieving that challenge, you kind of force the good thing to happen. So if you can do that, it makes you think, oh, good things can happen and I can have a role in that. All right. So another way that you can have just feel good in life. And this is something that I did last night that truly inspired today's topic. I was about to go to bed, doing a little bit of stretching, and I just decided after a good stretch that hurt a little bit, I came out of the stretch and just laid flat on my back. Just flat, arms down, just legs straight, just flat. Eyes open or closed, whatever I decided. In yoga, this is a pose I believe called Shavasana. I'm not really a yogi, however, I've attended yoga classes and so I know um some names of yoga poses. Also, I know that yoga, some Christians don't do yoga. I don't think it's that deep. To me, it's stretching, right? If it has a name for it, I could call it whatever people call that pose. That's also Shavasana corpse pose as well. I could call it that if I want, whatever, right? I know who God is, Jesus. And so I'm in this pose and I feel like, wow, everything is okay. It's like laying down flat on my back, just like everything is okay. If you can do this with no clothes, that's a plus. All right. It just adds a little flavor to it. And the reason why this happens where you feel like, okay, everything in life is good. I feel like an optimist right now laying on my back is because this specific pose calms your nervous system. It puts your nervous system in a state of rest. When you're able to lay down like that, it can signal to your body that nothing is really happening. There's no sense of urgency for anything. You're just able to relax. And that relaxation calms our body, relieves our stress, puts our mind into a safe place. This is going to help you feel good and feel optimistic. You're letting go of any tension in your body. So not only this pose, but we can even extend it to deep stretching and fascial release. Fascial release is basically deep stretching that um loosens your fascial tissue, your myofascial tissue. If you don't know what fascia is, go ahead and look that up. It's really hard to explain. It's like this net kind of tissue in your body that can get tense or it can be loose and it's all over our bodies. And people have said that this fascial tissue can store our emotions. Maybe that's why stretching is such a good release. It helps us to release our emotions. And so deep stretching can help bring you a sense of safety, a sense of release, lower stress levels, which then helps you feel good about life. It helps you to move forward with whatever may have been plaguing you at the time. You get over it, and now you're more optimistic. And doing this consistently is going to do amazing things for your flexibility and for your mind. It's going to ease your mind. It's sort of like a meditative practice as well. But that link flat on your back, make sure you end with that one because you're gonna feel so good. Our next one, if you want to feel optimistic and good about life, is to read a magazine. I know it sounds simple, and it is. It really is that simple. And reading a magazine helps to simplify the complicated lives that we have built for ourselves because of technology. Our lives aren't really complex, but in our minds, it feels that way because we are seeing so much, we're taking in so much information that our brain don't know what to do with it. So it just can start creating stories or giving us an urgency to do something because now we feel like we're comparing ourselves. The thing with social media is that whether we like it or not, there's a lot of negativity there, and we can't help but see people's lives. And when we are constantly seeing other people's lives, and not like regular lives, I'm talking about people are constantly showing the highlights. They're constantly showing they're on vacation. They won this thing. They got this new job. They made this much money. They started this hobby. Like, you can't help but feel a sense of stark contrast when you leave that. So if I'm scrolling for 30 minutes, seeing just all these fantastic things, it doesn't even matter what app you're on. It could be YouTube, it could be Substack, it could be Pinterest. I'm seeing all this, and then I lock my phone and I close it, and now I look up and I see my world again. My brain naturally compares. You can't stop your brain from comparing if this was like all you were doing and then now you look up and see your life, right? That's why constantly being on social media can be a little bit dangerous. You might not help but feel envy or jealousy if you are seeing so much. It is comparison. Social media is comparison, right? It is comparison. And this can bring negativity into our lives and even a sense of pessimism if we are not achieving our goals. This goes back to our goals, where naturally, as humans, we are goal people. Like, we make goals subconsciously, consciously, and then we achieve them or we don't achieve them. When you're a pessimist and you don't achieve your goals, it's not going to be good. When you're an optimist and you don't achieve your goals, you can analyze, say, maybe I should go for this again and I'm going to still get it. I'm still going to get it. I still have this mindset. Or maybe this isn't for me and there's something better. That is how optimists can work through not achieving their goals. And when it comes to social media, and we're constantly seeing this, and we feel like our goals might not be coming in fast enough, that can be dangerous. It can put you in a pessimistic mood. All right. So yeah, read a magazine. Like, put the phone down. I have found reading a magazine to be it feels so good. It feels so good. It feels chic. I know that's a trending word right now, but it generally, I feel chic reading a magazine. Like, I feel chic because, especially the magazine that I'm reading, I'll show y'all. I've been reading this for the past like couple months because, you know, I just be doing stuff. But it's the Galconomist magazine. This is their third issue, and they're coming out with another issue for September, I believe. This is the taste issue. I think their next one is going to be the play issue, and I'm so excited for that because I think a part of optimism is playing, like getting to play out, getting to play because it's not that deep. Life isn't that deep. Life isn't that serious. That's another thing that I've been experiencing is being able to play and allowing myself to lighten my life has lightened my mood and made me more optimistic about the future. If you're playing a game, if you win, it feels so good. But if you're playing a game and you lose, it might hurt, but you could play again. You could keep playing. Keep playing. Okay. So, reading this magazine, getting off of your social media, and getting a little bit analog. If you want to know the definition of analog, let's go ahead and look that up real quick. All right. It's a little more complex than I thought. Of, relating to, or being a mechanism or device in which information is represented by continuously variable physical quantities. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go with definition D, which is what I was talking about. Getting analog would mean in this case, not digital, not computerized. So we're getting analog. We're getting off the digital, off the computers. We might be having an analog renaissance. And I feel that so deeply. I crave that so deeply, especially after deactivating my TikTok and my Instagram. It has turned my optimism up. You want to turn your optimism up like you're turning up the speaker volume? Delete, deactivate those apps that you scroll on the most. The reason why it will take away your pessimism and make you more optimistic is again that comparison thing. We can't help it. We cannot help it. And then not only that, it's taking away our time for people in real life and for things that we like to do in real life. So snatch away that stuff. I would love, I'm just excited for more of an analog future. I'm feeling less of a need to be on my phone and computer. Because I deactivated those apps, the Instagram and TikTok, and I do feel a little renaissance coming. And it feels good. It feels like we need that energy back, we need that just 90s, 2000s, 1800s, 1500s energy back where everything was analog and we just talk to each other for a little bit. That just is essential. And I feel good about that. I feel optimistic. All right. I feel optimistic. I just really feel like good things are coming, good things are happening. And that's a blessing. And it impacts your health, it impacts your mental health, your mental capacity, your physical capacity, your ability to do things. So I hope that you implement some of these things to help you feel more optimistic and just feel good about life because that's just a good feeling to feel through and through content and looking forward for the future or looking forward to the future. I'll see you in the next one. Stay golden.